Just imagine a world swallowed by the sea, a huge forested landscape, home to ancient people, long-lost species, now hidden completely beneath the cold waves of the North Sea. Now, this isn't some fantasy novel. This was a real place. This was Doggerland. So let's dive in and see how some seriously cutting-edge science is finally revealing the secrets of this drowned world.
You know, for thousands of years after the last ice age, Doggerland was this massive land bridge connecting what's now Great Britain to mainland Europe. But as the glaciers melted, the sea levels rose, and this world just started to vanish. This timeline here, it shows you just how fast it happened. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was the blink of an eye. In about 3,000 years, a huge area, probably the size of a modern country, shrank down to an archipelago of islands, then to just one single island, before finally slipping beneath the waves for good.
So what exactly was this place? We've known it existed for over a century, but our picture of it has always been, well, pretty fuzzy really, just built from little scattered clues.
We knew it was a low, rolling landscape. We knew it must have been forested at some point after the ice melted. And really importantly, we knew it was a rich homeland for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. I mean, we found these incredible artifacts, like this harpoon here, that have just been dredged up by fishing boats. It's hard proof that people were there, and they were thriving in this lost world around 10,000 years ago.
But that left this huge gaping question mark. What was happening here before that? What was this place like when it was deep in the grip of the last glacial period? The conventional wisdom was, well, probably not much, a frozen, barren wasteland. But that picture, as it turns out, was completely, and I mean completely wrong.
To see the truth, we needed a new kind of time machine, one that could look right through thousands of years of water and mud. And that time machine is ancient DNA.
We're talking specifically about sedimentary ancient DNA, or sedaDNA for short. Think of it like this. Every single plant and animal that lived and died in a place left behind these tiny fragments of its genetic code. These little bits get trapped in layers of mud and silt, and they basically create a genetic library of the past. Each layer is a perfect little snapshot in time, a genetic ghost of an entire ecosystem.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds amazing, but it also raises a pretty big challenge, right? How can you be sure the DNA you're looking at is actually from the time and place you think it is? What if it's all just a jumbled up mess of material that washed in from somewhere else or from a much, much later time?
This is where the real scientific detective work comes in. The researchers behind this study had to figure out how to separate a clear, reliable signal from all that background noise.
And what they figured out is pretty fascinating. It all comes down to the kind of mud you're looking at. They discovered that DNA found in fine silts and clays is what they call a secure signal. It's deposited in really calm water, which means pretty much all of it, we're talking up to 98%, comes from the immediate local area. It's a crystal clear snapshot. But DNA from coarse sands and gravels, that's an insecure signal. That stuff gets churned up in high-energy water, and the DNA is just a jumbled mess, with up to 70% of it being older material that's been dug up and dumped there.
This chart just shows the difference perfectly. Look on the left at the fine silts. See that huge purple section? That shows that almost all the DNA, 96% of it, is actually from the local environment. Now look at the right, the coarse sands. It's a total mess, completely dominated by older reworked material. The difference is, well, it's night and day.
So, this is the crucial breakthrough. By developing this method to tell secure signals from insecure ones, the team could just filter out all the noise. They could confidently build a picture of what was happening, where it was happening, and when it was happening. And what they found? Well, it changes everything.
All right, get ready because this is where the story of Doggerland gets a serious radical rewrite.
These secure DNA signals took them back in time. Way, way back, more than 16,000 years ago. Now, this isn't that relatively warm period after the glaciers retreated. No, this is the late Pleistocene. This is deep within the last ice age.
And what did they find there? A forest. The DNA evidence was absolutely unmistakable. Oak, elm, hazel. I mean, these are temperate, forest-dwelling trees that had no business being this far north during an ice age. This just wasn't supposed to be possible.
Now this slide here comes straight from the research paper, and it shows us the whole ecosystem. Don't worry about trying to read everything, but just look at what's happening. On the left, each of those dots represents a genetic signal from an animal, things like boar, deer, and bear. And on the right, you can see the genetic family tree of the plants they found, proving there was a whole temperate woodland. The big takeaway here is this. The cediDNA didn't just find a few hardy trees. It revealed a complex, thriving ecosystem that humans could have actually lived in.
And then came a discovery that is just truly mind-blowing. Buried within all that complex data on the tree there, the analysis picked up a ghost species, a tree from the genus Pterocarya. Now, this is a tree that was thought to have vanished from Europe almost 500,000 years ago. But its genetic signature was perfectly preserved in the mud, proving it survived for hundreds of thousands of years longer than anyone ever imagined, right there in Doggerland.
So what does all of this mean? A temperate forest, teeming with wildlife, deep in the Ice Age, way farther north than it should be? Well, it forces us to completely rethink how life even survived the Ice Ages in the first place.
It provides some incredibly powerful evidence for a concept called northern glacial refugia. See, the old idea was that during an ice age, all the temperate species just retreated to these huge refuges in southern Europe, like Spain or Italy. But this discovery suggests there were also these small, isolated islands of milder climate much farther north, where pockets of forest and wildlife could actually hold out against the ice.
And this solves a huge puzzle in paleoecology called Reed's paradox. So the paradox was this. After the ice melted, trees like oak reappeared in places like Britain way too fast. They just couldn't have migrated all the way from southern Europe in time. The mystery was, how on earth did they do it? And the answer this research gives us is beautiful and simple. They didn't have to. They were already there, waiting in these nearby refuges like Doggerland, ready to recolonize the landscape.
So let's bring this all back to the human story, this rich wooded ecosystem that we've just uncovered, one that could support large animals more than 16,000 years ago. It means it was a viable place for people to live. This landscape wasn't empty. It could very well have been a homeland for Upper Paleolithic hunters, long before the Mesolithic cultures we already knew about. This literally rewrites the map of ancient human settlement. Doggerland wasn't just a refuge for trees, it was very likely a refuge for humanity too.
This revolution in sedaDNA has just blown a new window into the deep past wide open. It's allowed us to see a world we really thought was lost forever. And it leaves us with this one final, tantalizing question. If Doggerland held secrets this profound, what other lost worlds are just waiting out there to be rediscovered in the Earth's hidden genetic memory?